Time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good, it's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hello, my name is Zachariah Van Sliders with Old Man Gaming, and with me as always is...
Knight645, aka Logan.
And we have done it. We are up to episode 8. I know I start every time by saying we've done it, but every time we do another podcast, I do feel like we've done it. So let's go into the disclaimers. As usual, neither me nor Logan make money for this, so we're not going to go back and edit out weird pauses, dogs in the background, cats eating sausage, anything. It's not. You're not going to hear. You might hear it. So just prepare yourself for that. All right. So we're on Fanteraction. So this is the part where we like to speak out to the fans. We like to ask you guys questions. We like to ask you guys to come back at us with your answers and just interact with the show. So last week's question was top 5 games. What's your top 5 games of all time? Well, in general, right now, what's your top 5 games, period? So we only got one specific response to this. Let me find it real quick because, of course, I'm not prepared. And we got it from a tiny wizard. And his top 5 games were Sonic 3 and Knuckles, because they were definitely meant to be played together. Tetris Attack, best puzzle game ever. Undertale, best indie ever. Super Mario All-Stars, the OG HD remake, whatever the hell that means. And then Kingdom Hearts 2, best third game in a series of like 12 games that only counted up to 3 main entries. Laugh out loud. I don't know if I've talked about it before on the show, but one of my favorite things with a tiny wizard, because we're Facebook friends, is he would post something about Kingdom Hearts 3 in that huge period of time between Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3. He would post something about Kingdom Hearts 3, and I would immediately comment on it vaporware. Like every time. I'd be like, this game is never coming out. It's a myth. You're never going to see this game. It's just like, I would say the same thing about Death Stranding all the time too. It's just Guillermo del Toro and Kojima just pranking everyone. I was actually bummed when it finally came out because I couldn't keep trolling him about that. But I always loved the Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I think that was before your time though, wasn't it?
It was before my time, but I remember a lot of Sonic and Knuckles games, and Knuckles was always my favorite.
Well, let me tell you the coolest thing about Sonic 3 and Knuckles, okay, is that you had, like, Sonic 1 through 3 came out, right? Knuckles appeared in the third one, and this was cartridge Sega Genesis gameplay, right?
Okay.
So they released this game after that. The fourth game is just called Sonic and Knuckles. The reason it's called Sonic and Knuckles is the cartridge for Sonic and Knuckles had a flip top where you could plug another cartridge into it, like some sort of insane Jenga puzzle. And basically, if you plugged in Sonic 3, you could play Knuckles back through the third game through the fourth game.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. You could actually also plug Sonic 2 in and just play Knuckles through the normal game of Sonic 2, which was interesting too. But it was. I remember it was the coolest, craziest thing. I loved Sonic and Knuckles, so I'm looking forward to it. But I just wanted to talk about the cartridge thing.
That sounds ahead of its time.
Yeah, in some ways it's busted as hell. Sega Genesis loved to do these like weird stacking, like, we're not going to make a new system, we're just going to make this thing that attaches to another part. Like the Sega CD was just an attachment to the Sega Genesis, and the Sega 32X was basically like Sonic and Knuckles, just this huge like port that you plugged in and then plugged in more games over it. It was really weird how they would do stuff. But,
Creative thinking.
These top 5 games. What are your top 5 games, Logan?
My top 5 games. Number 1, Titanfall. If I have to choose, it's Titanfall 1. Of course, you got to pick the original.
Okay.
Number 2, I'm going with old school Call of Duty.
Okay.
Okay. Number 3, I'm going Halo. Halo Reach, to be specific.
Halo Reach. Man, you're
Yep.
picking some weird ones. I wouldn't pick Titanfall 1 over Titanfall 2, too. That's weird. Okay.
I definitely would. It was more simple. It was fantastic.
Oh, okay.
Number 4, I'm going Pokemon. Anything before Gen 3 was amazing.
Okay.
And for number 5, I'm going the Gears of War series just for the campaigns.
Okay, that's crazy. So did PUBG make it? Did I miss it in there somehow?
PUBG did not make it.
Oh my god. That's huge.
PUBG is amazing, and I love the game, but I gotta give it to these ones. I gotta give it to them.
That's crazy. I love that if somebody goes to your YouTube channel right now, everything you just said would be contradicted by it.
Because I can't put campaigns on those. I love the campaigns. Everything I said has a campaign.
Titanfall 1 does not have a campaign.
Oh yeah, not Titanfall 1, because Titanfall 1, it does not have a campaign, but it's still the greatest game of all time. And then Titanfall 2 did have a campaign, so it made up.
I heard that Titanfall 2 had an amazing campaign too.
It had an amazing campaign.
That's what everybody toted on that one. So, alright, well, this is my top 5. Well, it's pretty simple. Number 1, I can't choose between these two, so I'm going to say number 1 and number 2 together, and you can decide which one it is, but Monster Hunter World and Borderlands 3. Borderlands 3 has made the list in the last 5 days. We're going to talk about it a little bit later, but it's a great game. Monster Hunter World, of course, is an amazing game. So then 3. Now things get a little bit rough. I think 3, I've got to go with Skyrim. It's just, I don't play it as much as I used to, but just the fact that I could still go back to it whenever I'm bored and kill a couple of hours is just phenomenal.
Zach, I played Skyrim so much, you don't even have to explain. It's so great.
It is a good one. I think, man, so that's 3. I need 2 more.
Yep.
I should have prepared better for this. I'm pulling a Logan this week.
No, we're used to not preparing. we can't go out of character.
Just shoot from the hip. Hope everything works out. Yeah.
Yep.
I think actually number 4, crazy enough, is going to be State of Decay 2. Because that's another one that anytime I'm bored and I can't find something else to play, I turn that on and I'm happy. I'm a happy guy. Let me see. Number 5. 5 is tough. 5 is real tough because I do not know what to pick for 5. I don't know what I would have possibly sunk that many hours into to pick as a 5. And that's crazy because I played so many freaking games.
You have played a lot of games.
It feels like, you know what? I'm going to pick PUBG. I'm going to pick PUBG number 5. If I want to play a Battle Royale, I put on PUBG. I love PUBG. And I love... No! What am I doing? Logan, why didn't you stop me? Number 5 is For Honor. What am I doing? Oh, God.
I didn't stop you because PUBG is a great game.
PUBG is a great game. It is the Battle Royale of choice, but I would always pick For Honor before it, and I always end up going back to For Honor. Why did I forget about For Honor? Dude, this is going to be another crap show of a podcast, I'm telling you right now.
You slept on it.
Oh, dude, I slept on so many things. Okay, all right, so that's Fanteraction. We got to ask a question. I wanted to ask a question about what is the game that you had the hardest time getting? I want to hear a story of you needed this game so bad you had to do something crazy for it in real life. That's the Fanteraction question. Did you wait in a line? Did you have to wheel and deal for trades to get it? What was the game that you had to have regardless that you were unemployed?
I don't think you want to know the answer to that question.
I want to know the answer. Don't answer it now. We'll answer it next week. But that's the question out there to the fans. You can comment, of course, below this on YouTube. You can also find us on Facebook, Old Man Gaming. Comment in either places, and we will be very happy to read out your comment on air.
So Zach, I've heard about this game that just came out. I'm guaranteed we never talked about this on the podcast or talked about it ever. And you've probably never even heard of it, but I've heard that you played it, and it's called Borderlands 3.
That is correct, Logan. I got it, and I have played it, and my review is up. And why not talk about the biggest game release in 2019, without a doubt. And let's also go ahead and just go over all the reasons that you should have purchased it. Reason number one, the shooting is amazing. Like Titanfall amazing. No, you can't run on walls, but they added the slide and they added mantling, and the movement is phenomenal. Reason number two, it's a looter shooter, much like Anthem, but it's actually cool. In fact, that you actually get sweet-ass weapons every time you kill somebody. There's reasons to go back and kill people, and you can very easily play with your friends. Reason number three, I have it, and I want you to play with me. So, in any case, but Borderlands is great. I think we should talk about all the good and the bad from it, because there have been some bad, unfortunately. There was some, I don't know if you got a chance to watch the review, but there's some issues and also some skeeziness that is really bothersome with a game release like this.
Well, okay, to start it off, I would like to ask a few questions about the game first.
Bring it on.
How many weapons are in the game? Because I've watched a couple streamers play, and I've seen a ton of weapons.
There's absolutely a ton. Now, I believe it's procedurally generated. They did it in kind of a crazy way. I watched an IGN special on how they make the guns, but basically what they did was they made just like tons of like parts for the guns, and then the game itself puts the parts together in different ways when it spawns a gun. And so while there are like straight up guns you can get that are exactly what they are, a lot of the guns you see are just like crazy off the wall, whatever the game gives you sort of situation. And the guns are the star of the show, Logan. Like absolutely the star of the show. Like they shoot well, they sound well when they shoot. The reloads are all different. Like, and it's not even like Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 1 were great because the guns were different. Like a shotgun would reload in a certain way, and then a gun would a pistol would reload in a certain way. In this one, like, you can have the same manufacturer, same type of gun, and it looks, feels, and reloads completely differently than another gun of the same manufacturer. Like, it's the in-depth that they got with these guns it's phenomenal. There's tons of guns, and you get plenty of loot constantly. There's constantly something to be looking at and possibly switching out.
That's just amazing.
It is. And one other thing that I really liked about it is the aesthetic is there as well. Like, whereas Anthem, a big problem with Anthem is all the guns would look kind of the same. They would all have that samey look. Like if you got a heavy machine gun, it looked exactly like every other heavy machine gun. Its stance just a little bit different. That's not the way with this. Every gun looks completely different. Like it just looks different. It's the amount you can tell that all the work that they put into this game is in those guns.
It was worth the years?
Yes. Yeah, it was definitely worth the years. All right, question number 2. Hit me.
Question number 2, do they have like a lot of quests and stuff like that? Do they keep you busy, or are you doing the same type of dungeon scheme over and over like in Anthem?
You're definitely you're asking all the questions that are going to give good responses. So no, it is not like Anthem. The way they do it is, so like the main quest apparently only has like 36 hours if you just mainline the story missions, but how they do it is they have the side missions like spread out through like a world that you're on. And then as you're going through, you'll get that side mission and then divert into the side mission. But it kind of seamlessly flows with the story, too. So, like, when me and my brother-in-law played for the first time, we played split-screen co-op. We played for 9 hours the day after it came out.
Of course.
Right. The first planet you start on, of course, is Pandora, where all the other games took place.
Yep.
We did not actually get on the ship and leave Pandora. And remember, there's like 5 full planets in this game. We did not actually leave the ship until like, I want to say like hour 7, like after hour 7.
Jeez.
So right. So think about that. Like we didn't even get to the ship part until like right before we were going to be done playing. Because we were doing every side quest, of course. We didn't just go to the main stuff, but the side quest is like the way they do it. Instead of having like a bounty board, which this kind of irritated me about the old Borderlands, they would have like the side quests. A majority of them would be on this thing called a bounty board. You'd go there, you'd collect the 4 quests that were open, you'd run out, you'd do all the quests, then you bring them back and turn them all in at the same time. That's not how this works. Which that made it. Even when the quests were different in those games, it made it a little bit samey, like chore-y, you know?
Yeah.
With this, you'll be running to an objective. You'll see a little exclamation point on your map. You'll run over, and it'll just be like a dude who will give you a quest or a wanted poster on a wall, and then you'll collect it, and then you can just switch your thing to that and go deal with that real quick. So,
That's great to hear.
yeah, the flow of the game is really good as far as storyline and stuff. So go ahead, ask me next question.
All right, I only have the third and last question. Are the enemies that you're facing like creative? Like, are you versing different people every mission, or is it like planet based? How do they go about that?
Okay. So, say that one more time. I'm sorry.
Is the enemies that you're facing, like, are they different? Are they creative? If I go into a quest on Pandora, and then I go into a different quest on Pandora, am I going to be versing the same enemies, or are they going to be different and creative type of deal?
You're definitely asking all the right questions. We're going to start to sound like an infomercial here in a second.
We're not sponsored.
We're not sponsored. The enemies are... like if the guns are the star of the show, the enemies are the best supporting cast, the best supporting actor. Like the enemies, they redid the enemies, so there are just tons of enemy types. You will go into it like Pandora. Almost every mission we did, we found new enemy types, and even when you're fighting the same enemy types, most of them can spawn looking completely different 4 or 5 different ways. So like, say you're fighting a bandit psycho. There are like 5 different bandit psychos that will spawn looking completely different. So it makes you feel like you're constantly fighting a new enemy. Not to mention the fact they've redone the physics with them. So like your shotguns will actually like kick them backwards, which is like my favorite thing in the world. If you shoot them in the foot, they'll stumble. They actually will jump at you. They'll run behind cover. They're way smarter, especially later in the game when you fight some bad guys. Normal bad guys sometimes feel like bosses just with their powers and abilities. Like I can't express enough how you're never bored, at least so far. And I've been playing the game for roughly about 25 to 30 hours, and you're just never bored in this game. Never. So go ahead, ask me next question.
This is my final question, and I'm really curious to know the answer. How are the AIs? How are the AI mechanics? And you kind of answered that in the last one, but like, even Skyrim has it where like an AI will glitch out every now and then, and you'll get a free kill on it and stuff like that. Or is it like that in Borderlands at all?
I will say some of the bad guys come straight at you, but the guys who come straight at you tend to be characters who are supposed to come straight at you. Like that makes sense for them to do it. I'm not gonna lie. The thing that I found most interesting about this game, and I don't know that I expressed it the best in the review, is that combat in the previous Borderlands, though fun and felt good, it was more like a trading punches match. You would be a level, and the bad guys would be a level. Your guns would be a level, and if you and your guns were a high enough level, you would kill them. There was some finesse to it, but for the most part, it felt a little like you wanted to tank yourself, basically. With this game, it doesn't feel that way at all. It feels like when you go into a gunfight, a nuanced gunfight, because there's so much you can do in the battle to change it your way, and there's so much the bad guys can. So it feels much more moment-to-moment satisfying than the previous games did, as far as gunfighting goes.
Well, do you have anything else about Borderlands? Any little tidbits?
We need to add in some of the negative stuff about it. Like, this is all the great stuff, and I don't think anybody who buys this game is going to be unhappy with it completely. But I really don't like that they advertised their co-op suite. Basically, every trade show they were at, they said, hey, this game is split-screen co-op. It's one of the last couch co-op games. It's blah, blah, blah. And then your couch co-op is your biggest problem of the game. And it is. It is full of glitches. We experienced some graphical glitches where you'd walk past a gun and the stats would pop up and then they just get stuck on your screen. You'd have to pause. We experienced an audio glitch where we passed a burning fire and then that burning fire noise never went away, so we couldn't hear anybody talking.
Oof.
Yeah, our action skills sometimes would just vanish from our screens. The other thing was, and this is the one that everybody's talking about on the internet, is anytime one character would go into a menu, the frame rate would drop out. Like, I mean, it would drop to like 15 frames per second. Just, it would be done.
Jeez.
Like, if for both people. So if you were in a battle and one person wanted to make a quick switch of guns, it wasn't happening. Like, it would just immediately basically get you both murdered. And that's been a huge problem. I know a lot of people who are excited about this game for couch co-op reasons. My brother, the guy who did the theme song at the beginning of the show, he plays with his wife. A tiny wizard plays with his wife. It's a game that people like to play couch co-op, and they toted that it wasn't going to change. The couch co-op is going to be as good as ever. What bothers me even more about this is instead of just putting the review out there, letting people review it the way it is and taking their licks, it kind of seems like they underhandedly did some review fixing by giving all the people to review advanced copies via PC, where they knew that it wasn't going to be an issue. And then they got 9s across the board, and then when the game actually released on console, my problem is I feel like they did that on purpose. Like, they knew there was a problem. They purposely subverted it in the media. And now they look like jerks. And what's even worse is Borderlands 3 is a huge release. Just take your licks and move on.
True.
I mean, there was no way they were going to lose money on this just based on the pre-orders. So why did you feel the need to, review fix it? Is really irritating to me, and it bothers me so much that it's going to end up always being with this release. Like, such a great game was released, and it's what's going to follow it around is this shady bullshit instead of the game itself being a great game.
True.
That's irritating. Like, that's really irritating that happened. So they have said that they're aware of the problem. And that they're going to be probably fixing it soon, which is nice. But that bothers me to my core, Logan.
Well, it would bother anybody, but at least they stated that they're going to fix it, and hopefully they come through with that.
Yeah, I agree. They need to keep the support up on this game, and I think they will just from a money standpoint. There'd be no reason not to,
Exactly. Well, we've been a little bit over on that one, but on to our next topic.
All right, what do we want from the next generation consoles? That's going to be our next topic, and it's going to be basically what we want to see. Like, what do we want? I mean, these games look pretty good already. What do we want to see from consoles moving forward and from PS5 and whatever the Anaconda whatever is going to be? Project Scarlet.
Of course, and high hopes for both. Cross fingers.
Yeah, always want good systems.
Yeah, well, my hopes for them right now is better frame rate, because right now we are still capped at 60, but most games don't reach 60. We all know that.
Right. They've
So,
gotten better, but yeah.
so I'm definitely hoping for better frame rate. That's one of the biggest things that I'm definitely hoping for.
Okay.
I'm hoping for better adaptation of Wi-Fi, because I've noticed that consoles compared to PC, if you have like, it adapts to your Wi-Fi better. So I'm trying to say,
Okay.
if you have like a 5 out of 10 Wi-Fi on PC, it will look a lot better than it will for a console.
Okay.
And just with console in general, I've been like, I have good Wi-Fi. Yeah, I have to turn off my console every. Well, this is for gamers that game a lot during the day, but every like 3 hours, I would have to turn off my console and reconnect it to my Wi-Fi.
Okay. Yeah, that's a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what I would like to see, I personally, I like the Wi-Fi thing. I think that's a good point. I don't need better graphics. I just don't. I haven't needed better graphics since Xbox One, possibly Xbox 360. I mean, they just look so good.
I agree.
When I watch a trailer of Cyberpunk and I can literally like draw Keanu Reeves' face. I don't need better graphics. Like, I'm good. What I want is crossplay. That's what
Yes.
I want those walls done. I want the war over. I want crossplay. I want to be able to play, and I want it for everything. And we're not going to get it, but I want it for everything. I want games. I want it to not matter anymore, because it shouldn't matter. It just shouldn't matter. Like,
Facts.
I feel like the system you play a game on is preference. It's preference. It's what you want out of your gaming thing. Nobody is. I can't imagine anybody is buying a PlayStation 4 for Last of Us 2. I just can't imagine it. Like, they want to play a game on PlayStation 4. That's what they want. Like, I mean, maybe they are like back end, like a used thing later on in the thing, but nobody's gonna go out and buy the new system right off the bat for a specific game. So why are they restricted? And all you're doing by creating a second party and a first party market is making it so that you can't make more money. I mean, Xbox makes tons of money off Mojang. Mojang is first party studio, guys. They are owned by Microsoft right now. However,
Minecraft.
that's what I said, didn't I?
You said Mojang. I just said Minecraft.
Oh, well, right. They own Minecraft, but they own Mojang too. Mojang makes Minecraft.
Yep.
I mean, and that's on PlayStation 4. How much more money do you think Xbox is making off PlayStation 4 Minecraft?
Oh, so much. So much.
Right. So why would you, now that you hamstring these games, their sales, like, because you can only sell to a third of the people out there who have that console. Like, just stop. Like, the people who want to play on PlayStation are going to play on PlayStation regardless of the games that are there. The people who are on Xbox are going to play on Xbox regardless of the games that are there. We are well past the point where anybody is switching sides or anything. If anything, they're just buying all three consoles eventually so that they can play all the games, which is insane. Just make the games available everywhere. I mean, I get that you can't put them all on Switch, but Switch is a handheld console anyway. Sorry, Nintendo. Your consoles are always subpar. They just are.
They just are.
I appreciate what you're doing this time around, but my biggest problem with them has always been that they are a gimmicky company that stays afloat by keeping the chains on their first-party games locked down.
Yep.
They've got Mario, they've got Zelda, they've got Pokemon. And because they have those three consoles, people go out and... those three games, people go out and buy those shitty-ass consoles that they just keep throwing down our throats. Oh, motion gaming, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I hate it. I'm sorry, I don't want to get on a Nintendo rant. I do think that they've done better with Switch and incorporating the indie market into their thing, but I always feel like they're just looking for this weird gimmick, and the only reason that they're successful is because of their first-party games that they keep locked down. Wouldn't it be great to play Breath of the Wild on Xbox? It would be a better game. It would look better.
If I could play Pokemon on Xbox, I'd drop $100 for that easy.
That's what I'm saying.
Right now.
People gotta go out. They gotta spend $300 just to play one of those games. It's ridiculous, and it's in a way it's costing Nintendo money. Like, yes, they make that $300 on the people who have $300 to drop on one game, but those people are less. If you released Pokemon for all the system, well, not Pokemon because it's kind of a second party dealio, but if you released Mario for everywhere, you would make all the money. Why wouldn't you want to make all the money? I don't understand.
Oh, actually, though.
It's one of the reasons I love Xbox so much is they're very forward thinking on the
Crossplay.
Yeah, on the crossplay. I mean, they're putting Games Pass everywhere. They want people to play their games in other places. Phil Spencer has even said that he doesn't excuse me, have any real problems with them making games for other systems, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's where we need to be as a console generation. Like, okay, that's what I want for my next generation. So that kind of went into a rant, didn't it?
A little bit, but it was good.
Oh my god, I'm getting a call, of course. Stupid. You still there?
Oh no.
Logan?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Alright.
Did you pause it?
I did not pause it. We're still recording. This is all going on there. Horrible podcast.
Oh no.
What's going on? Alright, so that brings us to Fantasy Corner, and we're getting a little silly with this one. So recently, Microsoft Smash Brothers, Super Smash Brothers on the Switch, or whatever it's called now, they announced that their next DLC character is going to be Banjo-Kazooie, which is a Rare game and also a Microsoft owned property. So they worked out a deal where Banjo-Kazooie can be in Smash Brothers, and it's Microsoft. So going right from the console war, this is huge. It means that any character could be a character in Smash Brothers, like anyone, from any game, anywhere. So I decided that we would ask the question, what character do we want to see in Smash Brothers that we didn't necessarily think we'd ever see in there. So Logan has graciously allowed me to go first because I'm really excited about mine. I want mine to be Claptrap. Claptrap from Borderlands needs to be a Smash character. He's perfect. He's a little mascot. He was in pre-sequel. He had that crazy cannon move where he basically became a pirate ship, and it played Ode to Joy to cannon shots. He would be so much fun in Smash Brothers. Like, if somebody announced that Claptrap is going to be in Smash Brothers, I would seriously consider purchasing a Switch just for that.
After the whole Nintendo rant?
What?
After the whole Nintendo rant?
I'm not going to lie. Switch is the first system for Nintendo in a long time that I've considered. I've considered in any way, shape, or form. And it's basically because of I really like the Switch capability. The whole play it not necessarily on the TV and switch back and forth, because I have a 3-year-old, and that 3-year-old sometimes uses the TV, and it would be a lot easier for me to just put something on the TV and then I can play my games on the Switch. So I have considered the Switch, as hypocritical as that sounds. But I would love to see Claptrap in there. I think he'd be perfect. He's got as long as you got the lines, all the crazy one-liners that he has, he would be absolute perfection. So what's yours, Logan?
Mine is, of course, Master Chief.
Okay, alright.
Master Chief's the greatest character that doesn't talk of all time.
He does talk, he just doesn't do a lot of it.
Okay, we can't even say that he talks, because he states like 4 lines in like an entire campaign. So
The entire series he says like 4 lines.
Actually, though.
He's very unspoken. I kind of wish he'd talk a little bit more, honestly.
I don't. He's just a savage. He doesn't need to talk. He's just like, yeah, I'm Master Chief. That's it. That's the whole conversation.
I do like, because of that, plot just happens to him. Like it's not even like it's like the plot around him is real thick and happening, and he's just kind of running through shooting things.
Dude, exactly. Like he's just like, I'm Master Chief. That's it. That's entire conversation done.
That's the entire. You guys do all the complicated plot things. You just point me in a direction, and I'll murder everything over there.
He walks up, all the other characters are like, whoa, that's Master Chief, and then they start. That's the entire build-up. They're like, this whole thing's happening, and then he's just like, I'm Master Chief, and then he walks in and just messes up the whole thing up. It's Rambo style.
That's
Alien Rambo.
Alien Rambo. I like it.
And that would be awesome to watch him throw a grenade at Bowser.
Yeah. Yeah. What I would love to come out of this is I would love that to happen, and I would love if they don't get all this stuff on there, just give Switch to Xbox too. Like I'd love if they made a deal with like Microsoft and were like, we're gonna put Smash Brothers on Microsoft, but we get to use any of your characters. And Phil Spencer would eat that up like candy, and then we'd.
Oh, I would love that.
That would be so amazing. That would be so amazing. Brawlhalla would be in some real trouble.
Oh yeah, no, Brawlhalla would be dead. real quick.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the show, and of course our shameless self-promotions. Logan, do you have anything to plug this week?
My YouTube at Knightspace645, that will be linked. And if I can get the audio to sync up, I'll have a Brawlhalla and a PUBG video out.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm very excited to watch that. As far as me, right here, Old Man Gaming. Of course, check out back episodes of the podcast, but we also have our horrible reviews, which are doing pretty good. And we have a Let's Play series, Predator vs. Prey, and actually by the time this will up, our new Let's Play series, Borderlands 330, will be out as well. So, a lot of stuff to check out on the channel, and of course, comment below. We'll read your comments. Or find us on Facebook. Comment there. Old Man Gaming on Facebook. Old Man Gaming at YouTube. Subscribe, notify, all that fun stuff. So, okay. Well, that brings us to the end of the show. We want to thank everybody listening. We're up to 44 subscribers. It's pretty awesome where we are right now, and I just want to keep.
We love you guys.
Yeah, we do. We love you guys. Logan is right. We love you guys. We love all of you guys who just keep commenting and keep listening to this shit show. All right, and as long as you guys keep listening, we will keep making them. So we will talk to you next week.